Hello and welcome to Next Stop News, a series created to inform my fan base about transit events occurring within the system. Currently we are using KineMaster as iMovie is down once again. This is also something that we did for mid-February 2021's update, so I really hope you enjoy this update. Without further ado, here we go. First off, we mark the 2-year anniversary of Next Stop News. The series was first thought up on January 27, 2020, and the first update was released on February 16, 2020, right after the R32 retirement runs took place. I honestly and sincerely thank you guys for supporting the series and being with me up until this point. Let's jump into the topics. Here's what we'll be discussing for this month's installment. Concerning the R32s, it was announced that they may be heading to Ohio for scrapping. 3643, which was in work service, was already being prepped up for scrap on January 31st, as seen here. I'll definitely miss seeing the bright liners. On February 5th to February 6th, we had a G.O. which brought the 1 back to Harlem via the 3 line. This caused the 1 shuttle to return, as well as uses of R62s on the 1. As of December 15th, a new punch box was installed at Ditmas Avenue on the F to help improve F-train operation as Culver Line CBTC expands. Credit to Logical Rail fans for pointing this out. On the same day, it was announced that the MTA is also working on CBTC between Kew Gardens and Jamaica 179. CBTC was activated on the local tracks between Forest Hills and Jackson Heights on January 31st. Credit to Be Myself Photography on Instagram for this information. In the upcoming years, it was announced that 8th Avenue will get CBTC next, then Crosstown directly afterwards. This will roughly coincide with the R211 delivery. For those of you who want R211 updates, there's not much to report on except for the fact that they tested on Crosstown days after being moved to Coney Island Yard on December 22nd. To my current understanding, the R211 has shifted back to Coney Island after some time at Pitkin. Also, concerning the moving of the B to Concourse, this isn't happening until a few years from now. Sorry if you guys were confused about that from an earlier update. On December 16th, it was announced that the remaining R110As would become pump cars, as many of their kin did in 2014. At least they're still serving a purpose in the system. On December 17th, A cars 8001, 8005 to 06, and 8010 were transferred to South Brooklyn Railway to undergo the conversion process. After touring the shell of the future tunnels on November 23rd, Governor Hochul announced that Phase 2 of the 2nd Avenue subway has transitioned to the engineering phase. This announcement was made on January 6th, and the MTA gave the public a virtual walking tour of the trackage on January 24th. Phase 2 will be approximately 1.5 miles long and will accommodate up to 100,000 additional daily riders. On January 5th, Governor Hochul announced that she wants a subway that can link the furthermost parts of eastern Queens and Brooklyn. Though this is an ambitious plan, most of the infrastructure for it already exists via freight tracks. On January 20th, this proposal was later dubbed the Interborough Express and was announced on the MTA's website. It would extend from Jackson Heights to the southwestern tip of Brooklyn Bay Ridge. An environmental study was launched in its sake to determine its feasibility, which concluded on January 20th. If these tracks were to be activated for the public as a subway or light rail line, it would be 14 miles long, would connect to 17 various subway lines, and could potentially benefit from 74,000 to 88,000 riders a day, likely even more with population growth. On December 15th, the MTA also announced their plan for Metro North Railroad Penn Station access. This will accompany the building of 4 stations in the East Bronx, which the New Haven line will utilize to travel into Penn Station via Amtrak tracks, to help improve accessibility into Midtown Manhattan and reduce commuter travel time. It is akin to East Side Access, but essentially the inverse of it. Seeing inmates at Penn Station would be pretty cool. On January 21st, it was announced that the MTA is not done with CNG orders. It was discussed in an MTA board meeting that the agency is considering a future order of 368 CNG buses. How would this fit in with planned orders? Well, it would likely come in after the 375 electric bus order, as roughly 360 to 380 C40LFs will be left over between NYCT and MTA bus after the electric order concludes. These would all be standard buses, and would likely be the MTA's very last order of CNG vehicles, closing the gap in C40 replacement. think that the MTA should go for it. It would be cool to see Nova LFS CNGs or even Billig BRT CNGs. But if the MTA goes with XM40s again, I'll learn to live with it. An order of 210 hybrids was also discussed. At this time, it is unknown where this order will be assigned to and who will construct it. Besides this, New York City Transit is getting 60 standard electrics, which have now been confirmed to be Excelsior Charge Next Gen, 100 articulated electrics, likely XE60s for Quill, 245 Arctics, and 25 electrics which will eventually head to Eastchester, along with the 713 standard bus order for New York City Transit and MTA Bus Company. These are all confirmed, along with the capital plan and other documents. I have heard that MTA Bus will also get another order of 250 Prevost to retire the 2006 to 07 CLs in the future, while New York City Transit gets 92 to retire the 2013 CTs and some of the 2011 to 2012 Prevosts. My guess is that the bulk of the order will go to Omer Park to send some 2012 Prevosts out, but I'm going to leave that alone for now. I know that all of this sounds a bit overwhelming, but the MTA has been retiring stuff since I got in the field. When I came in, the 1996 RTSs were on their way out. Though equipment may get more dull as each year goes by, don't take what you have now for granted. As TTMG has recently updated their roster, they have made my job much easier. Concerning current new bus deliveries, Manhattanville received their first option order unit in the 9700s range, 9787, on February 4th, which will hopefully mark the rebirth of the LFS HEV fleet, after a new series of fixes involving the batteries that were apparently tested on 9721 until February 2nd. 9787 could have been Manhattanville's 100th HEV if 9741 and 9776 were previously delivered to the depot. On February 8th, I witnessed 5 HEVs on the highway trailing each other in succession. I immediately knew that this was no ordinary M98 deadhead. They didn't even have stickers yet. These were brand new deliveries for the first time since January. It was later announced that these units were 96, 93, 97, 9800, 9834, and 46, breaking Manhattanville's delivery pause and bringing their total to 106. 9684 and the other units mentioned in this list here were also delivered. I hope that the HEVs can continue to come in hot, as it is well overdue. Some say that the cone heads are currently placed on the back burner until this order is done, while others say that the cones should be arriving very soon. Gun Hill yoinked one of Manhattanville's options, 9796, for training. Kingsbridge took 15 LFS HEVs out of Manhattanville's allotment, which are all listed here. These option order units at Kingsbridge are temporary, so catch them while they're still there. I really hope that Nova and the Department of Buses are able to fix this situation that they have created, for Manhattanville's sake and the MTA as a whole. 9681 and 9848 to 9850 were also announced to be on standby. We're practically almost halfway done with our order, so let's finish this thing off once and for all. Michael J. Quill received their first option order XD40 9422 on February 2nd, 2022. That's a lot of twos. It was immediately placed into service the very next day. Many view this unit as the old gen killer, and I gotta admit to you, I initially resented the timing and delivery of this unit because of the era that I knew it would end at Quill. 9418, 20, 23, 27, and 29 to 34 were also delivered to Quill in the days following. They now have 11 option order XDEs and 41 XDEs in total. Grand Avenue received 95, 45, 49 to 50, and 54 to 58, bringing their total to 21 units, which are listed here. It's refreshing to see the Allisons moving out of the JFK vendor. 95, 46, 52 to 53, and 59 are all at the JFK vendor, awaiting delivery. When they get delivered, and when 9512 gets delivered to East New York, the Allison order will be done. To add on to this, Mother Clara Hale only needs 9562 to complete their base order. Prevost has been on fire with the deliveries. 1406 to 1417 were delivered to Eastchester in early February, marking their first delivery in a while. Their total of Prevost is now 36, 1382 to 1417. 1432 was delivered to Far Rockaway, bringing their total to 22. Once they receive 1439, it's a wrap for this depot. 1534 was delivered to Baisley Park to accompany 1532, bringing their total to 2 out of 8 units. The MCI era at this depot will soon come to an end. Baisley's overall composition in the far future may soon be all LFSs, XD60s, and Prevost. 1553 and 1556 were delivered to LaGuardia, bringing their total to 8 units. 1550 and 52 are built and are awaiting delivery. By the way, 1556 is the very last MTA bus Prevost. 1607 to 1608 and 1614 were delivered to Charleston between January 26 and 28. These are our first option order Prevost and Charleston's first blue and gold buses. They were the very last depot to receive buses in the new livery, marking the new reality that, after nearly 6 years, every depot in the MTA now has at least one blue and gold bus. Charleston's Prevost hit service from February 9th onward, with the first Prevost to hit the Sim 23 being 1608 on February 11th. In the days following, these units were delivered to the depot as well. For a list of recently retired CLs, check the pinned messages in the comments section. Kingsbridge Depot retired 4111 and 4377 and sent 4376 and 86 to LaGuardia. The next-gen era at this depot will soon come to a close, so get them while you still can. Manhattanville reduced their total of loan next-gens from 29 to 0, sending all of their loans back to their respective depots in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens by December 14th and January 21st. This is with the exception of 2 units which I will later highlight. They sent 3939, 3958, 4254 to 55, and 4364 to Hale, and 4002, 4005, and 4343 to LaGuardia. 4119 and 4122, instead of going back to Quill, went to Baisley Park. Nice move giving the loans to another depot. They never saw it coming. And 4014, 4284, 4256, and 4358 were sent to JFK. All this was done to assist in the old gen retirement process. They also retired 3855, 3899, 3953, 4001, 4057 to 58, and 4076. Manhattanville currently has 43 Hawker XT next gens and 90 lithium-ion next gens, making for a total of 133. I will cover the returned loans as I speak on the other depots. Quill retired old gens 6700, 37, and 47 on February 4th. 6737 was the last old gen out of Quill to run, but the first to end up at the scrap lot, being sent there by February 9th, while 6700 and 47 were towed there on February 14th. End of an era for Quill. I'm glad I got the chance to invest more thoroughly in the Quill old gens, a decision I initially wouldn't have made had it not been for the COVID-19 pandemic. To my knowledge, 6700 stands as the last old gen to run on a Manhattanville route, that being the M11 as a school tripper on November 30th. Some of Quill's old gens and next gens had special stickers due to fan service in December and January, one example being 3922, which had an Edgewater sticker. However, most if not all of the specially stickered units no longer have them. On January 21st, all 5 of Manhattanville's remaining loan next gens, 4117, 20, 26 to 27, and 37, returned to Michael J. Quill, increasing their total to 12 lithiums and 52 next gens in total. These were the last loans to return. The next gen count later fell to 48, 8 being lithiums, as 4117, 26 to 27, and 37 were transferred to JFK. Tuskegee stubbornly retains its 3 lithium loans from Quill, which means they once again have a surplus. Mother Claire Hale retired their 6 remaining old gens, 6757, 61, 65, 70, 76, and 86, since the last time we spoke. 67, 76, and 86 were the last 2 old gens in Manhattan to ever see service. 6786 performed its last run on February 8th, while 6776 performed its last run on February 9th on the M7. 6776 is a very historic unit, as it contributed to the end of the old gens at Manhattanville and Tuskegee, and was the final old gen for Hale and for all of Manhattan, as well as Navistoa in general. With that, there are no more old gens left in the Manhattan division. Due to gaining the 3 lithiums from Manhattanville, all 4 depots in Manhattan have lithium next gens. Through regaining 4470 from Manhattanville, Casey Stengel now has all 88 of its next gens, though TTMG lists 90. It was revealed on January 5th that 6864 was not retired, meaning that Queens Village still retains 33 old gens. The Queens chunk, 6844 to 6904, are now the last old gens at New York City Transit, just as the last first gens were at Queens Village. However, there are still numerical gaps in this chunk. There has been a pause on Queens Village old gen retirements to focus on the ones at MTA Bus. Thanks to returning loans from Manhattanville, Queens Village went from 55 back to 64 next gens, with one of them, 4394, being sent out to LaGuardia and entering service there. Therefore, Queens Village now has 63. On February 5th, 2011 LFS 8016 of all buses was retired. This was due to Hurricane Ida, showing that Ida's impacts were more widespread than even we knew. This bus was in Fresh Meadows when the storm occurred, a heavily flooded area. Queens Village has experienced a net loss of 7 LFS. Therefore, they'll need around 100 next gens, not 90, if they want to fix their current shortages. Grand Avenue sent 4437 to 39, 4558, and 4563 to MTA Bus. Fresh Palm went from 82 next gens to 84. The last two to return to this depot from Manhattanville were 3999 and 4043. They gave 3983 to Gun Hill and received 3967 from East New York. 7751, which suffered from Ida, was not retired and is still in service. Flatbush went from 61 next gens to 66, as it got 4410 and its remaining 4590s back from Manhattanville a couple months ago. East New York went from 64 next gens to 70 until they retired 3969, 71, 73, 4107, 4109 to 10, 35, 38, and 4221, the latter being used for parts at MTA Bus. 4551, 85, and 88 were going to be scrapped, but this plan was later changed. 3960, 62, 75, and 4455, 4548, and 4587 were sent to LaGuardia, along with 3967 to Fresh Pond, which was mentioned earlier, while 4430 and 4555 were sent to JFK. East New York now has 52 next gens left. Concerning MTA Bus, LaGuardia Depot retired 3550, 52, 56, 66, 70, 75, 77, 3610, 17, 29, 3731, and 3737, which reduced the depot's total of old gens from 97 to 85. The MTA will have intermediate difficulty replacing this group of Orions, though next-gen conversion did become faster as it became more frequent. It now takes approximately 2 weeks to properly convert an NYCT bus into an MTA bus, a drastic improvement from 6 weeks. LaGuardia currently has 42 next gens. JFK retired 3509, 3648, 52, 69, 71, and 3707, reducing JFK's total of old gens from 121 to 115. JFK will have to replace the rest of these old gens along with 21 Hawker XT next gens. It'll be much harder to convert this depot to 100% lithium next-gen standard fleet. It'll become the new Manhattanville once this occurs, however, having over 200 next gens in total. It took 3 months for them to convert their first Spectrum 4248, which entered service on January 10th. However, 4256's conversion process only took 2 weeks. It is getting much faster. As I mentioned earlier, 2 of Manhattanville's loans from Quill, 4119 and 4122, instead of being returned to Quill, were sent to Baisley Park. 4119 hit service on the Q64 on January 12th, the first next-gen to hit service at this depot in 15 years, ending their virginity in this regard. Negating occasional loans to JFK and vice versa, Baisley Park has 45 old gens left, but this number will quickly decrease as more next-gens get sent there. All of the MTA's old gens will likely be gone by year's end. The total of active old gens is now 277, while the total of retired next gens is now 36, which are listed here. Special shout out to those that help me keep track of the fleet status. Concerning Castleton, so far, only 3rd Gen 7001 and 7086 were able to be fixed, with 7086 returning to service on December 24th. Castleton now has 83 out of 90 active 3rd Gens. 8236 is also supposedly getting fixed at Zuriga as well. 8246 and 8400 have both been fixed and have both re-entered service. 8714 has re-entered service, leaving 8702 from Castleton and 8722 from Yukon, as the only 2019 LFS is out of service from the flooding. The former is at Castleton pending repair. 7054 and 7065 are at Yukon pending repair. 7058, 71, and 8221 are at Castleton pending repair. All 4 Prevosts are still out of service at various locations. 2660 was also revealed to have sustained flood damage from Ida, making that the 5th known Prevost at Castleton to be affected by the hurricane. We marked even more anniversaries last month. We marked the 1-year anniversary since Moynihan Train Hall opened to the public, the 1-year anniversary of the last time I rode a Neoplan so far, and the 1-year anniversary of me riding 9510 and 9560 for the first time. We also marked the 1-year anniversary of 1020's accident, which occurred on January 15th. How could I forget that we also marked 20 years of R143s being in service? And all 2002 MCI flip dots were scrapped as of November 24th, meaning they will no longer be seen at Eastchester Scrap. On February 5th, it was reconfirmed that no more first gens are left at Zurich. However, 6675 is still supposedly a training bus there. This still has to be confirmed. CT Transit's MCI D4500s, 304 and 309, were also recently retired. The 2006 D60s in Minnesota's Metro Transit were also retired in October, bringing the age of D60HFs as well as the age of high-floor articulated buses in America to an end. Rest in peace, D60HFs, 1989 to 2021. You will be missed. Indeed, a painful end to many eras across the board. Concerning Washington, WMATA had to resort to light snow service in early January until they switched to a weekend schedule on January 11th due to a number of drivers out sick with COVID at the time. On January 13th, the agency announced that they will not bring their 7000 series cars back in service until 90 days from January 13th. This will allow engineering and mechanical experts to fix the trains appropriately using new wheelset technology. As a result, more legacy fleet cars will be reinstalled into the system, reactivated in the meantime to fill in for the 7000s. They announced that they'd increase service on the blue, orange, and silver lines as of February 14th, meaning that a train would appear every 20 minutes on these lines. On February 22nd, it was announced that red line trains would begin appearing every 10 minutes instead of 12. I know, Washington is definitely suffering, but that's as good as it gets right now. The WMATA is also phasing out any Smart Trip card that was built before 2012. This will take place as of March 1st, 2022. Beeline placed their first XDE40 399 into service on December 22nd, 2021 on routes 4 and 25. In its first few cold days of service, it mostly ran on routes 5 and 25. There has been a fleet number shift, as indicated by CPTDB. XE35s 142 to 144 were delivered to Valhalla and Yonkers garages, completing the order of XE35s. Two XE40s 145 to 146 were also delivered to Yonkers, but are now at Valhalla for usage on routes with greater range that interact with the city. Orion 5s 131 and 133 to 134 are all retired. Some Orions were transferred from Valhalla to Portland, Manor. Some of these Orions will be auctioned off to private bidders. As the XE35 and XE40 orders are done, all that's left now are the XDE35s and the XDE40s. The 2022 to 23 XDE40s will be numbered from 398 to 503, with 398 to 463 being the base order and 464 to 503 being the option order. The XDE35 fleet numbers are unknown, as this option has not yet been exercised, but my guess is that it will range from 147 to 160. This will retire all remaining baby Orion 5s. All 2006 Orion 5s will be retired by the XDE40 order. Gillig was the only true success story bus-wise in 2021, the only company to truly live up to its promise. Through receiving the remaining Gilligs 2073 to 79 by December 13th, entering service and thereby finishing the order before 2021 came to a close, as of January 13th, all Gilligs between 2011 to 2079 are all trackable, as it was initially only 2000 to 2010. 2030 was also used for special purposes in December. Nicebus hastily retired all of its remaining 1700 series next gens between December's update and December 23rd, those being 1728 to 29, 37, 56, 64, 69 to 70, 76, 82, 85, 87 to 89, 92, 95, and 97. The last five 1700s were 1728 to 29, 56, 69, and 82. The last two runs of the 1700s were 1729 on the N70 on December 16th and 1769 on the N26 on December 17th. That's all, folks. The 2009 next-gen CNGs are history. My friend Zach Transit saw the retired units still at Mitchell Field on December 22nd, before 1712 was announced to have moved to Rockville Center Storage on January 6th. The rest will likely be moved there or to Cedar Creek Scrap, while the rest were moved to auction, which are listed here. Credit to MTA Bus Transit Fanner for these featured photos of 1776 and 1782. The completion of the base order of the 2021 Gillig BRT Plus CNGs has caused yet another fleet repositioning. Instead of next gens, third gens, and Excelsiors, the fleet at Nice is now 1800 series next gens only, 3rd gens, XN40s, XN60s, and Gilligs. Eventually, it will be a mix of Gilligs and New Flyers only, with New Flyer Arctics sprinkled in the mix. I'm already hearing that 2080 to 81 are built as of January 13th. 2080 to 2119 will retire next gens 1800 to 39. 2010 3rd Gen 1800 was revealed to not be retired on January 20th. I apologize for the former misnomer. All 1800s except for 1804 are still in service. On December 10th, it was announced that NICE is slated to get more Arctics for the N4 and N4X. They would likely be numbered from 2165 to some unknown number, which we thought the Excelsior Charge Next Gens would occupy. Seems like NICE is gearing up for some massive fleet expansion, which will majorly benefit the residents of Nassau County. I gotta say, NICE has been on their A-game all last year and even this year. In fact, most of my recent updates have allotted a massive time segment towards covering this agency. Keep doing your thing, NICE. NICE Buses' contract has been extended to 2024 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, affording them 2 more years. It was supposed to expire as of January 1st, 2022, as this marked their 10-year anniversary in business after inheriting the enterprise from MTA Long Island Bus. I'm hearing that they're currently auctioning the request for proposals for someone to take over the agency. On January 15th, NICE Bus issued a request for proposals for an agency that could potentially take over their company. Now, my belief is they'll just get Transdev again, so not much should be changing in the next few years. If awarded to another agency, the contract will last for 10 years with options for 5 more years and 3 more years. On January 10th, it was announced that NICE is still engaged in the Project Warmth endeavor, as they showed off their environmental efforts with Gillig 2071 as a background. Very poetic follow-up from when they were shown with the XN40 1980 around the same time last year. On January 12th, it was announced that New Jersey Transit's Newton Avenue garage has received its very first demo XE35. This is paving the way for the company to receive 8 Excelsior Electrics by late 2022. It'll be a lot harder to convert New Jersey's fleet to 100% electric in my opinion, as they have a larger fleet than the MTA does, and the majority of their buses are diesel powered. They plan to only order electrics by 2032 and are shooting for the same target year as the MTA, which is 2040. Sadly, on February 8th, a New Jersey Transit bus plowed into the woods. Its number was 18,014, and this caused injuries to 8 people. This is a very sad thing to hear, but don't let this hamper your mood too much. Let's mention some good news now. New Jersey Transit's final batch of MCIs is finally rolling in. 22,056 was announced to be built on February 8th, with 22,057, 61, 63, and 68 being delivered to New Jersey Transit property on February 11th, and 22,062 hitting service on the 158 on February 8th. The 2022 D4500 CT order is therefore on fire. Catch the D4000s while you still can. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of these 2022 CTs roll in between now and December, especially since they are the very last D4500 CTs that'll ever be built. Credit to MTA Bus Transit Fanner for keeping up on this order. Dash Bus both received and placed into service 2021 New Flyer XE60 903 as early as December 30th on Route 36A, and retired 2007 Orion 591 and 2005 Gillig Phantom 101. This makes for a total of 3 Dash Orion 5s left in service, those being 95 to 97, and 1 Gillig Phantom 102. 904, the last XE60, has not yet been seen in service. Again, due to the sheer volume of updates, fanning recommendations, and feature photos are currently suspended. Credit to all those who have provided photos and information for this update. They will be individually credited in the comments section. With that said, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and thank you for riding with Next Stop Mills.